9:16 on a Monday morning here at AM 1700 WRCR Haverstraw and WRCR.com. It's the morning show with Jeff and Will, and live on the line right now, as she is always every Monday, except when we're off on holiday like we were last week, is Tina Traster of the Rockland County Business Journal, rcbizjournal.com. Good morning, Tina. How are you?
Good morning. Is that Will or Jeff?
This is Jeff, who's doing the talking.
And I'm Will, who's not talking right now.
Right.
All right. Well, once again, congrats to Will on his nuptials.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Why aren't you on your honeymoon?
We went on like
This
a
is
little
it.
mini honeymoon afterwards. This is my honeymoon. The radio is my honeymoon.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so we are going to talk about a complicated story, but one that involves a cidery, perhaps Rockland's only cidery, lawsuits, zoning codes, and neighbors.
We did talk about that a little bit with Tina Traster, with Teresa Kenny last Wednesday. So hit us. We're all about the cider. Let's hit us hard and heavy.
Okay. Well. You know, there's a lot of, I guess, you know, there's a lot of complications to this story, and it really involves two lawsuits, not one. What we reported on last week was that a group of the neighbors, about 13 neighbors, got together and filed a lawsuit against the town and the cidery because they allege that the cidery does not have the zoning compliance or the permits that they need to be operating as they are operating. And that might not be so much as a grower, as a cidery, you know, as a maker for cider, as much as it is for a bar and a place that has music and noise and all that comes with that. So the plaintiffs basically sued Van Houten Farm, the town of Orangetown, and even the New York State Liquor Authority, hoping that they will shut the operation down. Now, this created a lot of there was a lot of sentiment on both sides of the aisle that we certainly saw as a reaction to this the reporting of this lawsuit. On the one hand, of course, Rockland County wants to have an attraction like a cidery. We all know that's usually a good generator of economic activity, and hey, it's cool. I mean, you know, we want that sort of thing in the community. On the other hand, as in every community, something is always located next to something else. And in this case, this cidery, which I believe is in Orangeburg, maybe near Pearl River. It's on Sickletown Road.
It's kind of on that border, yeah, in that area.
Yeah, it's on that border, and it is surrounded by residential, and it has been around as a farm for decades, but it is not necessarily zoned to operate a bar restaurant environment, which comes with you know, being able to serve and show off its product. However, there's another lawsuit, and back in January, after many months of attempts to get Orangetown Planning Board, Zoning Board, and the Town Board to approve the use of the Van Houten's 7 acres, the Rockland Cidery Works, the cidery, okay, took the town to court, saying that it was a permitted use. The cidery had been trying to get also something called a text amendment. Some of you out there might know what that is. That's when you try to get the designation for land changed. It's usually a high bar to do that. Anyway, the court, the cidery asked the court to stop the town from trying to enforce its building codes and zoning codes because the town was citing the cidery for violations, and to get the court to say that they should allow them to operate. Now, that litigation has been pending for many months, and in fact, the pleadings are due in court at the end of this week, and we'll be reporting on that. But the town has said that the cidery serves food and alcohol in a bar restaurant type environment, and that it's simply not allowed at that location. So the cidery has to. It's like this is like a chicken and egg situation, where if the town doesn't shut them down, but the town also doesn't enforce the codes, it leaves everybody kind of in a no man's land, which is why it now has two different lawsuits that are pending in the court. The town basically says that the cidery never went back to the zoning board, and that's what they needed to do, still need to do. But in the meantime, the neighbors, as I said, they have now just last week, whenever we reported this, they filed a separate lawsuit, and they're asking the court to shut down the cidery. They're saying that the town has not taken adequate steps to shut down the operations, and they're saying that that this is an R40 residential district, and that they're simply just not allowed to run this operation there. So like I say, there was a lot of commentary on this, and many people were saying that the cidery is a good neighbor, and that they don't play loud music, and that there's not any kind of bad behavior. But the residents who are in the immediate area and have standing for this suit, well, they claim that there is loud music and there's drunken noise and behavior. So, it's hard to know what's what. But until there's a clarity on whether or not this cidery can function there, it leaves everybody able to go to the courts and file suits and duke it out, until a court makes some sort of a final decision on this. The R40 district, that's typically they do allow, growing agriculture, orchards, but it's largely a residential district. And, if Orangetown were to grant a variance to the cidery at this location, it could set a precedent that would affect the rest of the town, when somebody seeks a use variance. One interesting thing is I don't know that we have another cidery in the county, but also Orangetown is redoing its comprehensive plan, and they're having a public hearing on that in August. So, it raises it. We've moved into a time where breweries and cideries and wineries are very hip and desirable, but we have to look at them through the lens of zoning. And in a case like this, it's gotten so out of hand that there are these two lawsuits pending, and nobody wins when there's this kind of ambiguity. So,
and literally, for those people who don't know where it's located, it literally is within an area where people's homes are right next door to it. It used to be an active farm, which I guess if you're nearby to an active farm, it's not as bad as when you're next to some people refer to it as a bar. It's not a bar, but they serve alcohol there in the cider, and that's what they produce there. It's not like this is in the heart of Route 59 in Nanuet or something like that. It's surrounded by other companies and businesses.
That's right. I mean, we recently reported on a new brewery that's going to be opening up in where the restaurant depot is. They're going to be taking a portion of a floor there. And that application sailed through pretty easily because you don't have neighbors, residential neighbors who come forward and have something to protect. It's a tough situation. I mean, we all want economic development, and we all want Rockland to be, a hip place and a place that has the things that make a place desirable. Really, I think it comes down to, process. I mean, the town of Orangetown, I guess, is going to have to, somewhere along the way, or the courts are going to have to take a stand and figure out whether or not, this zoning is permitted or it isn't. It's just that simple. It's, in the end of the day, it's not a gray area. It comes down to, we all live, or we all work or live somewhere, and every place we do that is zoned, and something is either permitted or it isn't, and there's a process to change that. One interesting little just aside is when these neighbors filed the suit, they also filed against the liquor authority, the state liquor authority, saying that they allege that the cidery got its license by making false statements to the state, that they claimed that it was zoning and building code compliance when they knew it wasn't. Now, I don't know, what their response to that is going to be in the lawsuit, but anyway, it's a bit of a mess, and two lawsuits pending. They're related to each other, but they're separate, and we're going to keep an eye on this story because I think it's interesting in terms of it comes down to zoning, as so many of our stories do. So many of our situations here in the county do.
And that's why zoning's important. Thank you so much, Tina. At 9:28 coming up on, we got to take a break because we've got Hudson Valley Audiology coming up next with Listen Up Rockland. For those who want to get more about hear more about this story, you can go to rcbizjournal.com. It's right there on the homepage, or at least a link to it is. You can just click on it there. And you can also check out all the different times Tina's been on the show here on the morning show. She's got a whole library of every single interview she's done with us. Tina, we thank you very much for joining us as always. rcbizjournal.com. Thank you very much. Have a great week.
Okay, you too. Bye.